think we're ready to go. Surprise, everybody! It's CNR Sidebar, probably the most important CNR Sidebar we've ever done.
Yeah,
because after 4 years or however long it's been,
5
years of us doing this podcast where we talk about other people's music, we are finally doing an episode where we are talking about and playing our own music. I don't know if you've noticed, but my voice is very sexy because I've been sick. So,
nice.
That's the only good thing about being sick, is that all of a sudden there's a nice timbre to my voice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Have you tried singing any Peter Criss songs yet? That's what I do.
No, not yet.
If never I met you.
No, I could never sound as cool as Peter Criss. Anyway, so I don't even know. This is such a different thing for us that I don't even know where to begin. So we were going to be doing GTA Vice City, the ranking of the radio stations this week, but we pushed that to next week because we are both very excited to get this music out there for everybody to hear. And what this episode will be is we'll explain the story of how it all came together. We'll talk about all the songs and we'll play all the songs because they're not long. It's a mini album. There's 8 songs, 20 minutes worth of music. It's it's one of those things. Well, I guess we're already getting into it.
It's one of those kind of situations, isn't it, where it's like, if it was like 5 tracks and 20 minutes, it would be an EP, but it's 8 tracks. What is the turning point to where something becomes an album or an EP?
I think it has to do with time and number of tracks. So like this would be considered an album because of the number of tracks. The length of time, like if it was 2 or 3 songs, maybe even 4 songs, it would still be considered an EP.
Yeah.
But like Dope Smoker by Sleep, that's considered an album, even though it's just one song because it's a fucking hour-long song. So, it's time and track number. But really, you can call it whatever you want. I mean, if you put out a 4-song out and you want to call it an album, call it an album. It's there's more important stuff to get tripped up on in this world.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm so glad I remembered this before we get into our music. Our evil plan has come to fruition. And I got Speed.
Nice,
on VHS. So home dude that was trying to collect all the Speeds on VHS, you don't got this one, buddy.
I can't show you right now because it's buried somewhere in a fuckload of VHSs, but it's right in here. The mystery box.
So this is this is like the beginning of the movie where we both got copies of Speed, and then that dude
Pop
is all
quiz,
like,
hot shot.
How many copies of Speed don't you have? The answer is 2. Anyway, so I've still never even really seen this movie before. I'm gonna watch it at some point, but I'm collecting VHSs now, and
dude, the Billy Idol song that plays over the ending credits is a banger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Billy Idol still putting out bangers. What year was this? 93, 94, this movie?
Yeah. I think this is coming off of the heels of that Cyberpunk album he did. But But I remember it not being like that. It's very just straight up rock.
Yeah. Okay.
It's weird. It's like it's got kind of a Nobody Rides for Free vibe to it, where it's like action movie, rock song, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, so I got Speed. So I'm sorry, dude. I saw somebody else that was collecting something else. There was another one where somebody was collecting VHS copies of a particular. Oh, it was Titanic. I saw somebody that was doing. Now, that one you can have. I'm not. I don't need that one.
I will say, while we're on the subject of that, I have recently made some acquisitions. Bear with.
Also, for the people in the podcast world, he's wearing a really awesome Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey T-shirt, and some sexy shorts, just to to throw it all together.
They're certainly shorts of all time. So here are some fun VHS acquisitions I made in a charity shop just yesterday.
Okay.
And it cost me, and all of this cost me a grand total of £6.
Nice. Which is dollars for those of you who might not know.
It's more expensive. More expensive
because pounds are more important than dollars.
Yeah, I'm getting pounded daily. So anyway, over here, I already own single versions of this, but I found Wayne's World double feature, baby.
Yeah.
2 VHS box set.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Next up, we have another double feature. Both Ace Ventura movies in one.
Okay. I was never a fan of the second one. Honestly, I went back and watched the first one again, and I don't really even like that one anymore.
dude, the second one's so underrated. There's that spear fight scene where he gets nailed in the leg, and then he says, "You're going to throw me another spear." Nails him in the other leg, and he's just like, "Ah!" And then I've come across an 80s movie I've never seen, but it stars Steve Martin, and it is The Man with Two Brains.
Okay, yep. I saw that one quite a bit when I was a kid.
And I saw it, I thought, that's an 80s movie, you're coming home with me. And bada boom, bada bing, I now have these things.
Nice.
And
if I remember right, I think that was the second movie that Steve Martin did after The Jerk. I think it was The Jerk and then The Man with Two Brains. I might be wrong, but I don't claim to be an expert on Steve Martin. I just really like the man.
I also have a Rogue taped off of the TV one from the very early 90s that is just titled Tremors Weird Science.
Oh, that's a hell of a double feature there.
That's a double feature right there.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right. So honing it back in for those of you who tuned in for this and are still here, we're here for the music, and we're here to premiere the world premiere of our new album. When I say our, it's our. Let's just call it a band. I hate it when people say project because it makes me not want to listen to it.
We're a band.
I mean, who says what makes a band? It doesn't matter. We're a band, and we call ourselves Grave Circuit. And I'll probably on the video flash up the little thing right there.
Yeah.
So I guess let's start off by talking about how this all came about. Like those of you who the real peanut butter platypuses, aluminium scrolls, Belvedere ball sitters, Christmas dogs out there, you all know probably the story because it's been peppered into episodes over the past year, maybe.
Yeah.
But it all started when we did an episode where I played a bunch of my old recordings from when I was 13, 14 years old or something like that. Mm-hmm. And Eddie was saying, we should do new versions. He would want to do new versions of those songs. And I think at that point I brought up, well, you know what? I have songs that I've done nothing with that maybe you can have a look at because these songs that you're going to be hearing, all 8 of them were written and recorded and for the most part mixed, the instrumentals, 3 years ago, about 3 years ago. And it was a project that I just kind of, every once in a while, it always happens where I feel like I don't have anything coming out of me creatively. And then all of a sudden something snaps and I'll go, oh shit. And I grab my guitar and shit starts coming out. And so I had this idea to do a short album where all the songs are just to the point. I don't worry about, as soon as I think the song is done, as soon as it feels done to me, the song's done. And I didn't bother to I'm not going to put any middle eighths in there or anything or pre-choruses for the most part. It's just it was just me, just like, you know what, I'm just going to put riffs down and put them together and make this like energetic, music that makes me feel good. And that's what it was. I wrote these 8 tracks that I was very proud of. Very proud of. The thing that I kept running into was every time I would either try to write lyrics or B, write lyrics and then record the lyrics that I wrote, I was never happy with it, and everything, and then vocally everything would just get deleted because I'm just like, God, this is not. And so I realized that was like a thing I went through, like especially last year, where I finally realized I just don't want to be the singer of a band anymore, because I had done that for like every band I'd ever been in since my first band started in '95. Every band I've been in, I've been the main vocalist or one of 2 main vocalists in a couple bands. But and I never liked my voice, never.
I do,
but I got well. Thank you. Cool. I got used to doing it, and I got better at it. But that was always the weak part of anything I ever did. I'm like, man, if we had like a better singer, this shit would have ruled. So I finally got to the point where I think I'm just done with myself as a singer. I like doing backing vocals and harmony vocals and gang vocals. I love that. I want to be involved vocally. I just don't want to carry the melody because I don't think I'm good enough to do that. So we had this discussion where, I said, well, I'll send you these tracks and see what you think of them. And honestly, my expectations weren't like super high, because I was just like, well, maybe you're not going to like them, or maybe you come up with ideas and I just don't feel like they work with the songs, because I don't know, we've never worked together like this before. It's brand fucking new. And a lot of times, even in bands I was in with people that I decided they were in the band with me, even then there was always butting heads of like, oh, that's such a shitty idea. Why are you ruining my song with this shit idea? So, and vice versa. I'm sure I had a lot of shit ideas too that ruined other people's songs. But, and then you had, Sage going on for a little while. And so, you wrote lyrics and you had some ideas, but, slowly it came together. And then Sage became, Sage is not a band anymore, just so you guys know. I don't know how much you want me to go into that, but. We parted ways mainly because my life wasn't really working around it anymore. And I didn't want to hold those guys back with any of my shit. So I said, hey guys, find a new drummer. It's been fun. I got to do something that works around my life. Yeah. So they've renamed to Stone Silence. Silence. Yeah. If you're wondering.
And that's what they're up to now. So if you liked Sage and you like Blinded, that's the band. Yeah. So yeah.
And I get it, because man, being in a band like that, especially when you have a whole lot of other life shit going on, it's exhausting. And eventually, it took me 20 years, but eventually you get to the point where the rewards that you're getting from it, whatever they might be, how small or big or whatever you're looking for, all of a sudden they're not as I don't know, as what's the word I'm looking for? Attractive. They're not attractive anymore. Because it's a lot of work for those of you who've never been in bands. Or for those of you who've never been in bands where, maybe you were a songwriter as well. It's exhausting, especially
don't get me wrong. If Lars Ulrich has like a sick day, I'll stand in. But
yeah, okay, Lars. Yeah, you know what? I will too. I could play Lars's stuff, I think.
But yeah,
I'm just kidding. I couldn't.
It's one of those things where. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, it's fine. I was just saying I couldn't play Lars's stuff. That was a stupid thing to say. That guy's got stamina, like crazy stamina, to put on those shows. Like 2.5 hours of that.
People can say what they want about his technique, but that motherfucker's out here at 60-something playing 3-hour shows of thrash metal. There's not a lot of 60-year-olds that could do that. You know?
But also he plays. I mean, if you go, you see footage up close. I'm sorry to derail us and talk about Lars now, but
He fucking left the band.
But if you get up close with Lars, like Lars hits the drums hard still. And so you'll see these other drummers that, sure, maybe they're technically, well, a lot of them are technically way better than Lars, but you watch a lot of those motherfuckers and they play soft. They got those mics cranked up because they're all like, you know, and so, but Lars is like a fucking workout when he plays. And anyway, whatever, you know, you know how we feel about Lars. We love Lars. Lars, if you would like to play drums on the next Grave Circuit release, the door is open. Honestly, the door's open to anybody in Metallica. Anyway, where were we? Oh yeah. So all of a sudden, you know, you weren't doing the band life thing, and you were able to kind of wrap these up, and you know, write the lyrics, record, you know, your vocals, and you sent me like scratch. Well, they were kind of scratch versions. Some of them you tinkered with, but some of them were kind of the same. But it was essentially just my track with your vocals over them, just so I could hear them.
Yeah.
And my first reaction to it was I was excited because there were really cool ideas in there that I never would have come up with, and so that immediately made me feel excited about it. And then, you know, Eddie finishes wrapping up his recording of his vocals, and then he sends me the vocal stems of all of the different vocal things he did. I mix it into my project. And that's when all of a sudden, once I was kind of placing things in there and hearing things with the songs and all of a sudden getting the levels, that was when all of a sudden I was just like, holy shit, we got something here. Like, finally, like the missing piece of these songs is here. And it was like not only was it stuff that I never would have come up with in a lot of cases, but also it's stuff that I never could have pulled off. You'll hear it when we play the songs, but Mr. Eddie Sparxx has quite a vocal range, and he can pull the shit off. And but he's also not afraid to do some, I don't know. You'll hear it. We'll talk about the individual songs, but it's just like stuff that like I've always been too self-conscious to get out of, you know, I don't know. I feel like as a vocalist, I'm good at what I do, but I have a very narrow area of what I can do and feel like I want to do. So all of a sudden, these songs became more dynamic, and all of a sudden, the dogs were fucking pissed off. But
we got to get them on gang vocals at some point.
Yeah. We'll do a cover of "Been Caught Stealing" by Jane's Addiction and just have my dogs.
That's a great idea, dude. That's a great idea. Just so we can have the dogs on a song.
Yeah, but I don't remember where I was. But yeah, so they brought like more dynamics to the songs, and they made the songs more exciting, and they breathed like an entire new life into these songs. And as I've been wrapping up, mixing them, and sending them to Eddie, we've both became more and more excited about these because they, obviously it's our project, so it's our band, quote unquote. So, you know, we'll leave it up to you guys, but we're both very excited about how these have come out. And, so this is the beginning of this, like, who knows where this is going to go? We've done this thing. We're planning on doing more stuff, but right now we're premiering this thing. You put in your 2 cents now from your side of things of getting these songs and what you did, putting them together.
Well, it's the cool thing about these songs that was very apparent very quickly is that while it's in a ballpark of stuff that we are very influenced by, it also screamed to me, nothing is off the table. And despite how like brief some of these songs are, there's a lot of cool genre shifts. And, you know, you and I are very influenced by like the early 90s kind of alternative metal, grunge meets groove metal riffage stuff going on.
They're into that.
And yeah, I can tell. But the cool thing about hearing these songs is that there's like a few hip hoppy moments. There's some like industrial style parts thrown in there as well. And I kind of thought to myself at that point, I said, well, it's Mike Patton time. It's time to
Yeah.
it's time. You know, nothing was off the cards when I heard these songs. There's a few cool changes in there, and I just thought to myself, well, there are going to be parts of this song that call for things that maybe aren't conventional.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I could have yarled the whole thing, but I didn't. There's whispery parts, there's kind of croaky parts, there's shouty parts, there's singing, there's wailing, and I'll be the first to admit I'm no trained vocalist, I'm no Whitney Houston, but I know what parts of songs call for what type of thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's probably a far more grammatically correct way of saying that sentence, but ultimately, I'm really happy with how these have turned out. And even the parts that, like, I kind of recorded and anything you lined up elsewhere.
Yeah.
When I heard it there, I thought, oh, okay, yeah, no, that was a better choice for that part. Yeah, that's the cool thing about like being able to send shit back and forth. Yeah.
That was. Because I added some backing vocals to a few things. There's a few songs that I'm not on at all vocally because what you did, everything was there that was needed to be there. But sometimes I would hear a certain part and I go, oh, this would be cool, kind of move over a few beats or something like that. And so I did some of that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I feel like at this point we just play fucking songs.
Cool.
So as you're watching this or listening to this episode, this album is now available on Bandcamp. If you go to bandcamp.com/gravecircuit or something like that. For right now, that's the only place I've put it up because you can download the Bandcamp app and listen to it there if you just want to stream it, if you don't want to download it. But you can also download it for free. Or if you want to pay, you can pay something. But if you're hearing it from the artist, I don't care if you download this for free. It's fine. And then you can listen to it wherever you want. You can add it to your iTunes library or blah, 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 whatever you do. But I figured that covers a lot of ground. But I also wanted to leave it open for the audience. Like if there's – because at this point, it's not worth it paying the money to throw it up so it can be on Apple Music and Spotify because – we just end up losing money because you don't make money. You don't make money that way. And if I can actually just have it out there where you can download it somewhere for free and everyone can access it, I'm like, well, that's the best way to do it. So bandcamp.com/gravecircuit. That should be it. And anyway, so this is going to be like, we're going to go through each of the songs. We'll play them. I'm going to pull up this folder. We'll play them, and then nope, that's not what I want. That's not what I want. That's what I want. God damn it, that's what I want. So you can't even see what I'm doing.
I think it's what he wants.
That's what I want. What I really, really want. That's another song we should cover.
Fuck yeah, I'd be down.
So yeah, we're gonna play each song, and then we'll chat about them, about what went into them. If Eddie feels inclined to explain the lyrics, he can do that. Or if you want to leave them up to interpretation, that's fine too. I have no problem with that either.
There's some that are more to the point, and some that are more nebulous. But I'll go in. This is an album premiere. Let's do a dissection, man.
Okay.
Full blown vivisection time.
Cool. So so you can hear the songs here, hear us talk about them, but go to bandcamp.com/gravecircuit. I think I'm saying that right. You just go to Bandcamp and type in Grave Circuit because I believe we're the only band called Grave Circuit, which is a big reason why we have that name. Because important thing, folks, if you're out there creating music, send this video to everyone in the world. If you're out there creating music, Google the fuck out of your name. Find a name that nobody is using. Trust me. Trust me. Thank you. All right. So we're going to listen to these in order. So the first track, track number 1 on. Oh, by the way, the mini album, we're calling it 1.0. So Grave Circuit 1.0. And I liked that idea. Eddie came up with that idea, and I liked it because we can do like a 9 Inch Nails kind of thing with Halo stuff.
Halo, yeah.
And that means that we can do like if one release is just going to be 2 tracks, we can make that like a 1.5, or if we or whatever we want to do, or if we come up with a title, it can still have a title, but then it'll be in parentheses 1 point or 2.0 or whatever we do. I like that. So this one's 1.0. This is track number 1. This is called You Don't. So that track number 1, You Don't. And just in case you're curious, and if you can't tell, which you should be able to, those are not real drums. Those are, but I mean, technically they were performed by me just on a keyboard.
Sounds good.
And I just chose a drum sound that I liked, and I tweaked it to where it sounded relatively realistic. And added like a heaviness, because I love heavy, pronounced drums. Yeah. And so that's what I came up with. But everything else is performed by me. Guitars, bass guitar, those are real. I'm not an amazing guitar player or bass guitar player, but I did those things. But
it sounds fucking great, man.
And then I did I did those harmonies on the chorus. I added a harmony each one of your lines. But everything else is you. And that was the first one I heard, and I heard the 2 wails that you did, and I was just like, oh my God, because that's the last thing that I would have put in any of these songs. But once I heard them, I was like, because a lot of people, especially back in the day, but even some now, try to do those kind of wails, and they just sound kind of weak or not. Just they don't have enough like balls in them. And yours have great big old balls in your wails. So I like that. But
old head and young balls at it again.
Yeah. Young big balls. So lyrically speaking, do you want to chime in on that one?
Yeah, it's kind of a play on people who are very, very wrong about something, but also very loud and believe they're right. And I took the kind of who, what, where, when, why sort of theme, and I just said, this motherfucker doesn't do any of this shit. Yeah. And the whole, it took me fucking ages to figure out how to fit the syllables into the odd time signature chorus.
Yeah.
Because like I spent fucking hours toiling over which individual part of this part should go here.
Yeah.
And then obviously the quite a big part to those who were listening to the nings in there.
Yeah.
Each of those lines ends with an ing of some description.
Yeah.
And I thought it would really add like some extra pronunciation to it to have like two nings panned left and right.
Yeah.
And there's that little part towards the end where it's literally just ning.
I literally took the nings and I moved them to the end, and then I added harmonies of myself also going ning on top of them.
Yeah, that was a fun track to do because it's vocally. I mean, the two sections are the same throughout, but it's one of those tracks where I felt like less was more.
Yeah, that was also the first track I wrote for this thing, simply because like I wanted to just write something kind of weird, and weird to me anyway. There's weirder music out there, but just I wanted to do a riff that kind of like Alice in Chains has done it sometimes, where it's just a really bendy kind of thing. Yeah, and sounds like the kind of riff that if you're a vocalist, you listen to it, and like I did, you listen to it and go, "What the fuck do I do over this?" and then I went the opposite route on the chorus, where I was like, "I'm gonna make it just one note, except for there's a different note at the end, but then have it be in a. It's kind of like it's still in 3/4 technically, but the drum pattern is different over it, so it sounds like it's an odd time signature, but it's not really an odd time signature. Yeah, but it might be an odd time signature. I don't know. I'm not fucking Tool. I don't know.
I think I literally just kind of so it was like I was like, right, I have 11 nings to work with. Yeah, let's work out how to build up to a good ning.
Yeah. So that was the first one. Not only the first one that I wrote, the first one that I heard Eddie's vocals for, and it's at that point everything was coming together really nicely, and that gives you an idea of what this EP kind of sounds like. Where it is, to me, it's very 90s. It's very easy to connect my love of bands like Helmet and grungy stuff and whatnot, because it's always in my songwriting. Like, there's certain bands, Nirvana and Helmet and things like that, are all bands that anytime I sit down to write something, it just happens to come out that way. I could literally sit and listen to a Possessed album or Cannibal Corpse or something for like an hour, and then grab a guitar, and it would still come out sounding like something from 90s grunge or some shit like that. That's just how it happens with me. So, anything else you want to say about that track before we move on?
It was, it being track one of the tracks you sent me. I thought to myself, "Oh, it set the tone for what we're gonna do." Because really, that's quite that one. When you talk about songs that are very to the point, that one's very to the point. Yeah, and it doesn't really let up, save for that one little bit where it's like dun, 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 dun. But it's a full on just kick the door in banger. That one, I really like how that song turned out.
Yeah. And all right, so moving on to the next song that I love how it turned out. Track number 2. We'll listen to it and then we'll talk about it. This song is called Drown. Drown, number 2. Yeah, that one's, I love that one. And I only added like 2 little things to that. Vocally speaking, you like in some of these, you had provided your own harmonies, and I always kept those because I'm like, well, it sounds better, you with you. But at the last chorus, I added an additional harmony. The high harmony on that last chorus is me, and then also there's a call and response when you do the "Am I me?" and you hear "Am I me?" One is you and one is me.
Cool.
Like you're over here, it's a repeated one of you, and then I recorded a harmony over here or whatever speakers it's on. I don't know, who knows.
This is the first I'm noticing it, but now that you mention it, I thought something sounds different about that part. And it's the left channel.
I literally just took one of yours and then I recorded a harmony over it. Because sometimes I'll hear a space and I feel like something needs to go there, but I don't think it needs to be extra lyrics. Same thing with leading into the second chorus, I sampled you.
I love that.
Doing, I should have just let you drown, and then put distortion on it, just basically to separate it and say like, okay, this isn't the main lyric. This is a callback. Plus the song is called Drown, and I'm like, okay, let's repeat the drown thing here. That's like my producer hat gets put on. And that's when I had the most fun, was doing stuff like that. Because in a perfect world, that's what I would want to be. I've said it before in shows. I would want to be a Rick Rubin or a Bob Rock and just be like the guy that shows up and is like, nah, you should do that part 2 times instead of 4 and repeat this here. That those vocals aren't very interesting. Let's do something better. Because I feel like I feel like I have some kind of expertise that I could help bands improve their shit. Because I feel like I have one foot in both sides. I feel like I understand what makes something good that's mainstream and what makes something good that's like underground and kind of different. But
I think if there's one thing we can pride ourselves in is being very aware of production with the amount of albums that we've listened to over the years. Knowing between us, there's thousands of records.
Yeah.
Especially on your side of things, because I've got 20 years of catching up. I'm still doing.
Well, and eventually, when and people like us, you go through that period of time where you go, I love how this sounds. I don't like how this sounds. Why is that? And that's when you really start digging into stuff and figuring out what makes what sound like what. And I did my little stint going, taking audio engineering classes in college. Although I did not graduate because I'm a lazy fuck. But anyway, Drown, lyrics to Drown.
Drown is kind of a combination of like my frustrations having lived with undiagnosed inattentive type ADHD that I only really clocked in the last couple of years, and the various characters in my life who have tried to push me and mold me into one thing, when in actual fact it was just ramming a square peg through a round hole. And it just wasn't working. And getting labeled fucking lazy and forgetful and shit like that, when in actual fact it's like I have a neurodevelopmental disorder that makes that very hard. And don't get me wrong, that if it's something that I'm very invested in, I can really throw my all into it and get really passionate about it, like this band that we're working on now. Whereas like there are some things where like if someone was just, unless you give me a written instruction, I will not retain it. And it's I lived so much of my life believing I was stupid, when in actual fact it's just I am just at a disadvantage in this area, when in actual fact it's that thing of if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it'll live its whole life believing it's stupid. So simply put, I think it really, it's Drown is up to interpretation to an extent to where it's just about being frustrated with people telling you how to live your life, when in actual fact I've kept it vague enough to where anyone can relate to it. But to me, it describes a quarter of a century of just being told one thing when in actual fact you find out it's something else.
Yeah.
And you feel kind of lied to.
Yeah, which is from my point of view, being a late Gen Xer, a lot of Gen Xers will kind of brag about how our parents just told us to get up and grow some balls, and I'm like, yeah. That was not good.
Yeah.
Like our parents were not interested in finding out if we had any neurodivergent tendencies or whatever the fuck you would call them. There was
you were weak or you were strong.
And there was no. And for some people, that's the thing, that there are people that had those tough parents and it was beneficial for them. But I feel like they're probably in the minority because a lot of people, it ended up making things worse. And then, for people, and then some in the Gen X generation, that's why a lot of them were on drugs and died of drugs. So that's a really important thing, especially like that kind of subject I take to heart, just because my son, my trans son. I don't know if I told you. Did I tell you that he's trans?
No.
He's trans. So he has a lot of shit going on now because not only is he a teenager, which is already difficult, but in this current climate, he's now also somebody that people fucking, think shouldn't exist. And he ain't doing shit to anybody. He's literally just being himself. Yeah. But those things and him dealing with social anxiety, and I went through enough shit that as soon as I started seeing it happen, I'm all like, this is a thing we have to get checked out, because I'm not going to be like my parents and just say, just fucking get over it. I'm not going to do that. So, but sometimes it happens. Sometimes it takes a little while and then you figure it out. Like, being in your mid 20s and finally getting it all together, that's not too late. So that's, not to get serious about it, but
no, absolutely. I mean, the subject matter on this album runs the gambit from, I mean, we'll get there, but
we're about to get there.
The beauty of how we've kept this, like, nothing is off the cards.
Yeah,
is you could have like a really serious song one moment, and then a song that, in the grand scheme of things, is really fun and goofy, but at the same time, the frustration is very real.
Yes, yes. And funny enough, like when I was trying to work on lyrics for these songs, a lot of it was about frustration with different things. Yeah. So it ended up like working out. Like we were on the same wavelength anyway,
I remember that I have demos with lyrics I wrote during COVID. And I look back now and I think, there are some things I would keep, but there are some things I would change, because like there were some really angry songs that like entered the realms of like Slayer territory. And now I think to myself, I should probably chill out on some of those verses a little bit. Probably not a great look.
It's like that video I keep seeing going around with the girls like, that's not fair. I need to calm down.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you just got to calm down. Anyway, all right. So so that was Drown. And so now we move on to track number 3, which is my second favorite track on this album.
Nice.
And it's a little more lighthearted. And I really like Eddie's delivery of the lyrics on this. You'll hear it. This one's a little bit easier to get what's going on in the song lyrically, but I think when I first heard this, I go, I feel like this is going to be a standout track that people are going to be mentioning. I love this one. So let's get into it. Let's hear it for the first time. This is song number 3. This is Lemon Law. Yeah. That was
Nice.
Lemon Law. My only question from the lyrics, what's an MOT?
So an MOT is it's like an annual test that your car has to pass to be road legal.
Okay, we have those here. Inspection tests.
The symbol for it is like 3 blue triangles kind of stacked up. It's kind of like this. It's this thing. It's literally just, is your car safe? The answer being, in this case, no.
Yeah. over here, if I remember right, do we have to do inspections still? I feel like they did. I don't know. Something stupid like that happened where it's like, you don't have to do inspections anymore. Whatever, just drive your piece of shit everywhere you want to go.
I'm not being funny. I mean, they deregulated a bunch of airline stuff, and then a bunch of planes fell out of the sky. So how's that working out?
Hey, you know. We're not. That's above our pay grade. So you know.
Hey man, just saying. If it's Boeing, I ain't going.
So clearly that was about a car that that gave you a lot of issues.
Yes, for 18 months it was the bane of my life, and
immortalized now in a song.
Yes, and if I had to go through a year and a half of vehicular suffering for this banger to exist, so be it.
Yeah.
But honestly, pick something on the car. Something went wrong with it at some point. It was my second vehicle I ever had. And I've pulled a few things from other cars I've owned, but the main car that this is about is the 2005 Vauxhall Corsa 5-door hatchback I had between, oh God, when did I get it? Between 2018 and early 2020. So yeah, that thing was a shitbox, man. Every month something happened to it. Like it's no exaggeration. I replaced the oil filter on that thing 3 times. But like the key part of that chorus is the "Mama why?"
Yeah.
Because I had a previous car that completely shit the bed, and then this car I inherited from my mum. Well, essentially, I must have got it right when it was at death's door, because as soon as I owned it, it started going tits up, left, right, and center.
Yeah.
And every time I approached her about it, she was like, "Oh, it's a slightly older car. It's like there are VW campers that still run. This is 13 years old, you know." I kept going back, and in the end, I'd made a list of this many things wrong with it. That in the end, it was like irrefutable proof that the car.
Yeah.
I've spent more than a car keeping this thing on the road, to where it was like, okay, maybe we should look into getting you a new car.
Yeah.
But it was very much a.
So lyrically, like I guess lyrically, yes, but vocally for sure. I immediately got like, vibes of institutionalized by suicidal tendencies. But the thing that I like about this is that you have a great sense of humor and timing, because the way the lyrics play out, where, especially the second chorus, where you have the one line where you're like, well, the boot won't shut, but that's it just wouldn't lock. And then there's a space. And then the last one, you fit in all this shit. And it always makes me laugh, because I'm all like, oh, okay. Because I thought we were finally at the end, but no. Now we got all this other shit that's going on. And I just thought it was so well done. But this is a really great example of, like, I never would have thought of doing the vocals like this. But as soon as I heard it, I go, oh, it's fucking perfect. Because in my brain, I was trying to be too, like, on the beat when I was trying to write something to this. And I was like, why doesn't this work? Why does it sound stupid? And so it's like, it's because it needed something like this. And it's a very, like, not chaotic, but it sounds stressful. It's very, like, it sounds stressful. So it needs some stressful lyrics.
It almost has that starting a car thing as well, like sort of thing. And I some of these songs, and this is not me this is not me blowing smoke up my own ass, but half of these songs were written over the course of a long time, and then the other four just came to me in like a day, where I could just sit down and be creative. And this is where I'm going to make a case for the ADHD thing. Is that a wonderful thing about ADHD? Is that if it is something you're really into, you hyper focus.
Yeah.
And then instead of being completely unable to take anything in, it is all you are taking in.
Yeah.
And then at that point, you are like literally breathing, eat, sleep, shit, breathe this thing. And I just sat there for a day with the microphone, just set up, just if I have an idea, just get it on there and go.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and that's mostly you. The only thing that I added is at the very end. You hear me yelling "lemon" on panned on either side.
I love that part. I love the call and response type stuff that we end up doing sometimes.
Yeah, and I ended up looping because your end vocals, you went a little more death metal with it at the end.
Yeah.
But I thought that it was less effective. Especially because I liked the fact that if you keep the yelling, the shouting lemon parts, then when you wrap it up with the fucking lemon, like that's like the ultimate, like I'm fucking done with this shit at the end of it. And I thought it sounded really cool. So
in retrospect, I definitely hear what you're going for, and the way it turned out, I like it more.
Yeah,
I think at the time I was like, I haven't done this in the song yet, but I much prefer what you ended up doing with the vocals, because I think the kind of screamed, shouty, that kind of, let's call it a scrout, because it's somewhere between screaming and shouting,
in between the balls and the anus.
Yeah, it's the taint of the extreme vocal world. Really, it was just a huge theme running through this whole thing is frustration.
Yeah,
and this is, albeit a first world problem.
Yeah,
it's still a problem.
That's the thing, is that like, if everyone's lives are different. If a problem to you it's your problem. Somebody else isn't supposed to look at it and be like, oh, that's a problem for me too. No, it's not. It's not your fucking life. Yeah. So I really love how that one came out. And then I added that I sort of created your own gang vocal thing, just using your, when you hear "It's a lemon" in the background, I literally I literally just edited you saying the "It's a lemon" part in the line, and then I just added a whole bunch of reverb and other shit to it, and kind of panned it and like, turned it down so it's a little more in the background, and it sounds like there's like a gang vocal kind of thing there. But so that one was fun to do. That one was fun to do, and it's that song's a blast. Anything else about that one before we move on?
I think the cool thing about this is that, like, we've had a couple of songs that are like, the album starts off with like a song that's quite to the point.
Yeah.
There's a few moments. There are elements to it that are a little tongue in cheek, with the nings and whatnot, and a little off the wall, a little crazy.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you got the first two songs, and they come from a real place.
Yeah.
And the whole album does, but there are a few songs on this album that are a bit more grounded in, a little bit more humor.
Yeah.
But there are other elements, and I think the cool thing about Lemon Law coming right before this next track called Freedom Lie is literally just about the state of the world today.
Yeah.
And this growing tech billionaire fucking empire of oppression that is slowly seeping into everyday life.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I think that it's very important to, like, and I think I said this to you with Lemon Law, where I was like, I feel like there's a line between being humorous and being a joke. And I wanted to avoid something seeming like a joke, because obviously, like, there's going to be humor in it because it's us, and we find funny shit in everything.
Bunch of goofy goober guys.
Yeah, but I do think that there's a way to use humor and still make it come across as a genuine song. as opposed to like not everything. There can only be so many like scatterbrains out there where it's they are humor is very important to the point where some songs are just kind of jokes.
Yeah.
So,
well, a funny thing is, like in this next song as well, there is a line that I can't think of another band that would have said it, like the whole roasting marshmallows thing. But we'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay, yeah, let's play that one. So this is track number 4. Let's just do it. This is Freedom Lie. All right. Freedom Lie. That one, that one's that was that when I wrote that one was literally just I just wrote this riff, and for the most part I was like I like this riff. I kind of just want it to play out through the whole song. And then this is the only one that has what I would consider a middle 8 in it, but there's no chorus technically. Yeah. But that's just how the song came out of me. And then that ending part, I don't even know where that came from, where I just thought that that's how I wanted to end it with the like the old 808 style drums at the end.
I love it.
But
especially the little cowbell. Bing.
Yeah. Well, that's part of like the Roland 808 like
808 drum machine.
Yeah, like that's the sound right there. But
so many 80s hip hop songs.
Yeah. So and then the only thing lyrically I did on that was I did a harmony over the middle section, but only over 3 of your lines. So I do a higher harmony on we had terminal illness. I do a higher on those, just on 3 of the lines, and then at the end that's me yelling lie. That's me. But that was because like with the way the song ended, there was. I think you just said the word prison again at the end, like in a growly type thing. And I was like, I feel like that's not potent enough. So I came up with the idea of yelling lie at the end of it. Once again, that's me working in like, hey, Freedom Lie. The song is called Freedom Lie. Boom, boom, boom. In case you didn't know. But everything else, once again, like the majority of these things, like, like Eddie, would send over like not only, you know, one main vocal track, he would have a double of that most of the time, and then harmonies, and then whatever other little things that he would come up with. So I had a whole lot to work with. And then I wasn't going to put any lyrics over the end of it at all. It was just going to be the 808 stuff, but you brought it up to like a new level where it's like it's a little bit of levity at the end of the song, but also a little bit of a nod to our quote unquote fans. Ugh, I hate saying fans, but you know, you guys.
Well, you know, at the end of the day, you know, being as this was born from us doing Cranked and Ranked,
Yeah.
and we've built up the fan base of the peanut butter platypuses, aluminium squirrels, Belvedere bull sitters, and Christmas dogs.
Yeah.
I just thought this is the part of the album where if anybody's going to get a shout out hip hop style, this is the part.
Yeah.
And you know, the people watching and listening or watching are why we're doing this. You know? That and we love doing it, but seeing cool stuff written down underneath what we make pushes us on to keep going even more. So and
lyrically, you kind of already went into what that song's about.
It's you know the class warfare dystopia.
It's a frustrating thing when it becomes more and more apparent that you know, just like they say that like the top 1% has more wealth than everybody else combined, or some shit like that. I don't know the exact numbers, but
I just remember seeing this infographic that illustrated Jeff Bezos's wealth. And this was like 5 years ago, so it's probably incredibly inflated by now. But I remember seeing it's this big orange bar along this ruler, and you keep scrolling through it, and these little blocks of like other things, how much other things would cost, and as you scroll through it. And I remember, you know, as someone who has lost someone to cancer, you know, thankfully, I'm in a part of the world where, you know, we have the NHS. We don't have to pay for such a thing. But the idea that someone who owns multiple yachts could use a fucking decimal fraction of their wealth to treat every cancer patient for a year, it makes you. In my eyes, if you have a soul, that should make you fucking sick.
Yeah, you know? I think that's the frustrating thing is that, you know, there are a lot of us that we, you know, some more so than us that struggle financially, and then you see these people that are perfectly well off millions of times over, and literally, if they all just came together, I'm not saying every problem in the world could all of a sudden be solved, but a big chunk of them could be taken care of. And the thing that's always blown me away is that, like, why would you not want to go down in history as being a billionaire that did good thing, that solved some big ass problem? Why would you not want to be in the history books for that and not just?
You could be the ultimate good guy. You could be.
I don't get why they wouldn't want that.
You know, as far, you know, I'm not a religious person or anything, but as far as I'm concerned, the first fucker in line for heaven should be the dude that fixes the world. You know,
So anyway, it's all right. We're getting heavy on this, but like there's heavy subject matter in these songs.
Yeah, there's humor, but there's heavy subtext.
Yeah. Well, it's difficult to you know, to not be frustrated with things, and then it's cathartic to let it out in your whatever your creative avenue is, and in this case it's music. And that came out in the music that I wrote, even though there's no lyrics in it. It was already there. That's a big reason why I listen to so much heavy music, because it kind of helps me channel frustration and anxiety and things like that. But anyway, so that was Freedom Lie, which wraps up the first half of the of Grave Circuit 1.0.
Side A.
By the way, I haven't mentioned it, but probably somewhere on the screen you'll see the cover image of the album. But and for those of you listening on the podcast, I'm going to try to put in the top quality versions of these songs for everybody that So it's I don't know how it's sounding on your end.
Sounding good, man.
Okay. So let's keep going. This is an album release. We're going through each fucking track. So now we get to Spiraling Downward, which is my favorite song on the album.
Wow.
Now this wasn't my favorite of the bunch until you put vocals on it. And
it's
I think
one that it was the last song that I put lyrics to because I was so stumped. I didn't know what to do until I just down, 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 dude. Just do a descending thing.
Yeah. It's but just you'll hear it, but the verse is just it's way better than anything I could have come up with. And really, this song came about with me. I really like. I don't even know what the rhythm style is, but it's like you hear it in a lot. You hear it in a lot of Tejano music and stuff over here.
Reggaeton kind of beat.
Yeah, it's like a reggaeton beat, and I've always really liked that beat a lot. And the funny thing is that I had written this song, and not long after it, there was a hardcore band that had a breakdown with this beat in it.
Knocked Loose.
Knocked Loose, and I was like, oh, you motherfuckers.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's where this came from, was literally just because I really like that kind of beat. And so this song came from that. But here we go. This is Spiraling Downward. Alrighty. Yeah, that little part of the end was just my little nod at acknowledging kind of where the idea came from, and more of a Latin kind of thing.
You know, the funny thing, for me, that part reminds me of System of a Down.
Yeah,
like there's a real System of a Down vibe at points on this that at the time I didn't realize, and then just the other day I heard a System of a Down song. I thought,
oh yeah,
man,
I love those guys. So that you know, that definitely is in there somewhere. So like vocally speaking, something I really like about that is that the chorus, sometimes you sound a little like Ozzy, like,
you know,
it sounds like an Ozzy type vocal line.
It's funny you should say that, because the recent passing of Ozzy was weighing on me, I think, when I came up with that line, and I thought, like, during the verses, it's a bit more sort of Alice in Chains in a blender sort of vibe. But this, when it goes halftime, I thought nothing but pure blues Sabbath can go over the top of this.
Yeah.
So I just went full wailing pentatonic stuff.
Yeah, and the thing is like the reason that I had to move this. I have little Velcro things on these wires so they don't vibrate. Anyway, sorry, nobody needed to hear that. But like,
it's behind the scenes,
vocally, like on the verses, the reason I like it so much is that I need to give you all the credit for like coming up with great vocal lines, because you could have just, the way it begins with the down, down, down and go, you could have kind of done a similar thing. But when you get to, the next line where when you do the waking up and coming down, that's almost like an R&B kind of run with some of these lines where it's like you're giving more than I even was like what I've even thought of, and it makes the song like almost kind of soulful in a way, which I really enjoy.
You gotta have that soul, man.
Yeah.
Without getting all, peace, brother, dude. But like, it's true. Sometimes you just gotta have that, a development in a song. Have one part contrast to another part.
Yeah.
But at the same time, some parts just call for you to have that pentatonic scale going, because it's how you make stuff sound bluesy, and some stuff sounds good bluesy, and those parts that contrast with each other, to be able to have like a reggaeton thrash song immediately turn into just full blown Sabbath mode. It's I'm particularly pleased with how that song came out, because I'm not going to lie, when I first heard that song, I was as lost as you were where to go with it, because I thought, this is cool as shit. I've never heard anything like this. What the fuck do I do?
You nailed it. You nailed it, man.
There was a time where I was considering, have you heard Chacaron Macaron?
No, I don't even know what that is.
Chacaron.
Oh yeah, okay.
There was it. Weirdly enough, that kind of inspired the down, down, down and go kind of thing. So yeah, if never in my metal development did I think that Chacaron Macaron would be an influence, but lo and behold, here I am. Here I am, child of the internet. Yeah, my God, that Chacaron Macaron is a throwback for me, man. Holy shit. That's me at 10 years old on the family PC watching stupid early YouTube memes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the cool thing about this band as well, is that, we have that generational, we cover a lot of ground, I think.
Yeah, we do, for sure. Yeah. So lyrically on that one, anything you want to chime in with for that one?
It's literally about addiction. It's just, that's my, like, it's a topic that's talked about a lot in heavy music.
Yeah.
But it's my take on it. I've had experience with it, and it's one of those things where, like, especially during the pandemic, thankfully my relationship with this stuff is a lot healthier now. But
he's pouring this giant beer.
Yeah. This only happens on the weekends now. But I can remember during the height of the pandemic, I was out of control. It was bad.
Yeah, it was rough on a lot of people, but yeah.
It's probably a good thing we didn't do face cam stuff until like after the pandemic, because there were days I looked rough. Well, I would come home from work and I would literally get in the shower and then go straight to doing the podcast.
Yeah.
So there's like a 2-year span where I'm just wet for the entire podcast. And nobody knows about it.
And not in a fun way.
Not in a fun way, no. No.
All right, so that's spiraling downward. This next one, I also really like this one, and the sample you're going to hear at the beginning of it, I added because I had an idea, what something in the lyrics was referencing, and I honestly just threw it in as a surprise for Eddie.
Yeah.
So
this is my favorite song on the whole album.
Okay.
I'm really excited to get into it.
Okay, well, here we go. This is... Okay, that's my dogs, but let's listen to Arrogant Demise.
Seek, locate, exterminate!
Fucking... I shouldn't like what I see, but you wouldn't listen. And sat screaming at the screen. Yes, the scan lines listen. You won the game. Thought you'd be a rich man. Then the nightmare became the truth. Extermination is the plan. The Oxford English Dictionary defines arrogance as a feeling or attitude of superiority that manifests as an inflated opinion of one's own importance or ability. Leading to presumptuous, excessive self-confidence, yeah. Now you're begging for your life, the disbelief on your face. Your arrogance has led to your demise. In the hands of an alien race. You were warned when you said they don't exist. You arrogant fool. But then they found you. And what they did was cruel. However, I cannot feel a bit vindicated by this scene after you mouthed off to Captain Jack. Yeah! Presumptuous, excessive, self-confidence, yeah! Reap what you sow!
All right, Arrogant Demise.
I fucking love that one. I love
Yeah.
how that one came out.
That one is clearly my helmet. There's it's a helmet riff.
Yeah.
It's inspired by Helmet for sure.
Yeah.
But really, that was one that, like, when I wrote that riff, and then I just decided that I wanted to throw in some parts that just kind of fucked with everybody. So that's why, like, I left these big spaces after the verses, not even knowing what I wanted to do in them. But I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I'm just going to have nothing. And then maybe that'll be vocals. Who knows what that'll be? And then same thing with at the end. I'm like, there's going to be 2 fake out endings where it sounds like it's going to be a fade out. And then it starts again. And then it starts again. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to fuck with people with this song. And then you ran with it.
Yeah. And at that point, for me, when it came to this song, this is another one of those songs where I just thought, I got to pull from something I'm thinking about right now.
Yeah.
And I've gone through a major Doctor Who renaissance this year. And it's been a real, like, deep dive for me. But one very nostalgic pair of episodes for me is Bad Wolf and Parting of the Ways. That series 1 of New Who, Christopher Eccleston, the show has come back. The grand finale of the first series before David Tennant took over. I remember being such a holy shit moment when I was a kid because, spoiler alert, they kind of fake you out earlier in the season where there's an episode.
25-year-old spoiler alert or some shit.
Yeah. So there's this like fake out where it's like, hey, there's an episode that features the last of the Daleks and it's really fucking deadly, but ultimately in the end it dies. And it's a deeper story than just that. But later on in the season, when you think they're all gone, all of a sudden in the next time trailer, it reveals, holy fuck, the finale is the Daleks again, and there's an Emperor Dalek, and there's millions of them, and they're going to invade Earth, and all this shit. Crazy, nutso mode, end of the world scenario. But then there's this one moment in, I believe it's the second episode of the two-parter, where, long story short, there's this, in the not so distant future of like 100 or so, 150 years from now, there's like a space station that's got like hundreds of TV studios on it where people just get like transmat beamed to be on something like Big Brother or something, or The Weakest Link. Yeah. But the only difference is if you get outed on one of these game shows, you fucking die. And like it's turned into a blood sport in this dystopian future. Turns out they don't die, they get transmat beamed to be turned into Daleks, which is fucked.
Got it.
But here's the thing, right? When they have enough of these Daleks, this space station gets, like, you know, overrun by them. And there's this one guy that's like, I fucking won the game! I should be fucking rich! There aren't any Daleks! I'm not listening to you, Captain Jack, even though you're a man with a gun and you know what's going on. I'm not fucking listening to you. I've won the lottery, I've won Weakest Link, you know. About 5 minutes later in the episode, the Daleks descend down to their level and fucking kill them all. And, like, here's the thing. That dude at least had the option to have a weapon and fight back and didn't take it. And his arrogance led to his demise. And that whole thing ties in to where when I was a kid, I was just like, bro's got a gun and you're not listening to him about Daleks, which you said, there aren't any Daleks. Yeah. You should take Daleks very seriously. They're space Nazis that are virtually indestructible.
And a good thing to point out for those of you who may not know, because you may know what a Dalek looks like, but it's actually not just a robot. There's an organism inside of it, like an alien organism inside of it.
I have one right here. He's a little banged up.
But you can't take the top off and see the little mutant thing on the inside.
Not this one, no, but I do have one that does that.
Yeah. So they are like technically aliens. They're just built into these robotic armor machine things.
Yeah. Real quick. If you have the option to edit this in, I really want to do the Genesis of the Dalek speech. Where is it?
I mean, we might get flagged.
Here we go. I've always wanted. Who's it? We are entombed, but we live on. This is only the beginning. We will prepare. We will grow stronger. When the time is right, we will emerge and take our rightful place as the supreme power of the universe.
So that's old school. That's shit that I remember. That's Tom Baker era Doctor Who.
Dude, if we may do a sidebar on this sidebar for a quick moment. I'm fucking loving classic Doctor Who and in all its cheesiness. It's so good. Yeah. It's so fun. And there's something I never realized about it as a kid that I realize now. There is such a punk rock quality to how low budget it is.
Some of it, yeah.
Like there are so many moments where it's like you just wrapped a guy in tinfoil and called him a Cyberman. It's great. I love it.
It was always fascinating to me when I was a kid because I started watching Doctor Who and it was Tom Baker era Doctor Who, and then I remember I went with my brother to like a sci-fi convention and they had a screening of the very first episode. Is it called An Unearthly Child?
Unearthly Child, yeah.
And I just remember being so like, wow, it's so interesting what a bait and switch this is because the episode doesn't really lend itself to saying, "Oh, this is going to be like a space adventure type show." It doesn't have that quality. It's like a odd kid kind of story that ends up being And I don't think the doctor I don't even think he's in half the episode. The doctor, what's his William Hartnell?
William Hartnell's the first one. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the. Yeah, I mean, I think I would love to like get into that stuff, but I feel I'm just like I think that I have to pay for it over here. I think we have to buy BritBox or some shit like that, or BBC, one of those things. Pay for that.
Dude, I've started just buying up the whole physical collection. I'm starting with the Daleks, and then
I'm going to see if I can find them on VHS because I know that they released some of them. The weird thing about British TV shows when I was younger that I always kind of bothered me was that some shows, they would only release like certain episodes on a VHS, and they would sometimes not be in the right order. And I'd be like, why would you do this? That's really weird.
That is weird. That's kind of like when albums don't have the correct track order on the back. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? You had one job.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that's Doctor Who related. I was trying to think, what did I end up? I don't think I did anything on that vocally. No, I didn't add anything to that at all. And that has your highest wail of the album at the end of it, which is pretty impressive.
I went full blown Rob Halford.
Yeah,
ending of Victim of Changes on that one.
Yeah.
Victim of Changes. Yeah.
Yeah. See what I'm saying, guys? I can't sing like that. I'm the Blaze Bailey of the two of us. He's the. We love Blaze Bailey, by the way. I thought it was so funny. I saw this Metal Injection article came out like the other day that was like, Steve Harris says eventually people will love, Blaze Bailey era stuff. And I'm all like, did he see our episode?
Yeah.
Come on, Steve. Anyway, yeah. Okay. We have 2 songs left. Of our album and of our album premiere. I hope you're all enjoying this. And like I said before, you can go download it, bandcamp.com/Grave Circuit. And this,
you can.
And this is the penultimate track. This is Uniform Utopia. And that right there is what I would consider an effective fade out. I always get really annoyed at fade outs because sometimes they're just lazy, but sometimes I feel like a fade out is perfect for certain songs. There are certain songs that if it starts to fade, I go, "Oh, good call on this one." But other times I'm just like, "Oh, come on, that was lazy."
It's a tightrope walk. Some songs, some songs need it. I think an example I would point to is "Midlife Crisis" by Faith No More.
Oh yeah.
That is a perfect place for a fade out.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple, and as much as I love this album, there's a run of songs on Dr. Feelgood that end in fade outs, and it's like, it's clear that you just did that because it's a popular thing to do at the time, you know.
I guess, or they just didn't know how to end their own fucking songs.
Yeah, but end of the day, that was a big budget album for a band
you would think Bob Rock would be like, hey, why don't we like write an ending for the song, anyway, so the one thing I wanted to point out, and is that there's all these lines, deliveries that you do throughout all these songs that really sort of drive home like how good the performance is, because I love that line in there, I've become the god of my own little world, the way that you deliver it. And because like we're essentially just making fucking music in our bedrooms or whatever, offices, and sometimes that's not the best environment for like a really good all-in performance. But you did that on these. So like my question was, you recorded them in where you are right now, right?
Literally, like, I had the mic set up here, and I was stood behind where I'm sat.
And so there are other people in that house, and so they had to hear you screaming, "This car is a fucking lemon!"
Well, the beauty of this is it's an extension, so But ultimately, I was here very often when others were working, so I could just. I mean, I'd be able to do it anyway, but it's a lot easier to get into that headspace when no one's around.
Yes, for sure.
Live in that world, so
I had to like apologize to my family and be like, look, I got to go do backing vocals, especially on this one, because I had to keep yelling "Uniform Utopia" in my office, because that's like I'm in the backing vocals of that, and then I add that weird thing where I kind of do the inverted.
Everything should be the same.
Everything, So he changes his "everything should be the same" to a different beat, and I keep going on the same one, and it sounds like a rotation of "everything should be everything," whatever. I just thought it was a cool idea, so I threw that in there.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm just doing the gang vocals in there as well, which that's a cool little. That's another one that like ended up being cooler than I thought it was going to be. Because I like that song. I think probably musically speaking, that's my least favorite of what I did on this album. But it turned out really cool. And you said this one was a Cybermen reference somehow?
This one's a little more nebulous. It's not as explicit. It's not as explicitly about Doctor Who as the previous track. But I kind of had it in my head of like, the Daleks want to be the only thing in existence and want to kill everything else.
Yeah.
The Cybermen want to turn everyone else into them.
Yeah.
They want everything to assimilate into them. Daleks just want to kill everything. But here's the thing. I thought to myself, that there are people walking this earth that have this mindset of everything should be how I think it should be.
Yeah.
And if I ruled the fucking world, everyone would have a number and we'd all fucking,
or in the world of music, that people have decided that there's a way you're supposed to think about things.
There are so many things where, like you say, where there seems to be this correct answer mindset.
Yeah.
Where unless it's how I say, it ain't right. I
remember I got that recently because I posted, about Megadeth breaking up and saying that I wasn't really into like the more recent stuff they've done. And I listened to United Abominations, which I like that album. And somebody a couple people in the comments were like, I don't even understand how you don't like their more recent albums. I'm all like, how is it hard to how is it hard to understand that? Like I just said I don't like them. Is it hard to understand because you think that there's a way you're supposed to think about an album? And I'm like, no, that's not how it is.
I'd say the worst thing about metal is groupthink mentality, but honestly, it's the worst.
It's everywhere.
But it's the worst thing about everything is the groupthink.
Yeah, and I assign my opinion even to albums like Master of Puppets. If somebody says I don't like Master of Puppets, I'm not going to go, how could you not like Master of Puppets? I would just go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly you've heard it and you didn't like it, and who am I supposed to say you're wrong?
Yeah, it's like, I'd be surprised if they went into it as a metal fan and didn't like it, but ultimately at the end of the day, if everybody was the same, it'd be a terrible fucking situation because we'd all die of boredom. Yeah, but I just feel like in certain types of quote unquote art, there are just people that think that there are things that have to be a particular way, and some of the best music that was ever made, in my opinion, was from bands that went, no, fuck you, we're going to do whatever we want. And one of those bands was Metallica. Fucking rules.
Yeah. Like they're bands that made these groundbreaking genre albums. They were all saying, well, fuck your rules, we're going to do whatever we want. And then all of a sudden that became the whatever you call it, the example of like, this is this. And I'm like, well, when they did it, it wasn't that. They just did it.
And do you want to know a fun fact, guys? Do you want to know an album that was panned critically? Black Sabbath's debut, which is now heralded as the birth of heavy metal. So,
it's weird. But like when I hear that song, that's what I think of on the musical side of things, of people saying that there has to be, there's
a correct answer for everything.
Yeah, you have to think this, and this, or you're not like a real quote unquote metalhead. Which that term, that having a label already bothers me because I'm just like, well, then I don't want to be. Like if I'm a metalhead, can I also be like 5 other things too? Because I don't want to just be that. Thanks. But anyway,
absolutely.
So
Before we go into the next song, I would hold off because it is the last track. But I am at critical mass. I need to go to the toilet.
All right, everybody. Here's a pee break time.
I shall return promptly, but I'm at that stage where it's now or never.
Got it. All right. All right. All right. So now we've relieved ourselves. Now we've
tactical reload.
All right. Cool.
Every once in a while, we like to get a little wasted. We like to take a taste of alcohol.
All right. Yeah. Oh, it's still going. That's a big ass beer.
'Tis a pint can, my guy.
A pint can.
Pint can. Carlsberg Premium Export Pilsner Pint Can.
Brought to you by Carlsberg.
Yes.
Carlsberg. Anyway,
not sponsored by Carlsberg. We're not being paid.
Oh, not.
We're not being paid.
Oh, I wish. I'd love to have a beer sponsor.
Oh, absolutely. But we're not being paid right now. So
no, we're not. No, not at all.
If they want my formal endorsement, I don't like this.
Yeah.
Puh. Icky. All
right, well, let's wrap this shit up, everybody. This is the last track of Grave Circuit 1.0, and this one's a little bit different. I came at it with more, I wanted to fuck with electronic sounds, but also include more real-ass band type shit in it, too. You'll hear it. Here's the last song on the album. It is called I Wish It Would. and that's all she wrote.
Nice.
So yeah, that one was just me fucking around with electronic sounds, and then that song kind of came out of it. And it was one that like I was like, I have no idea vocally what to fucking do on this. I probably would have just done it all like ministry and just done like distorted vocals to the whole fucking thing.
Connect the goddamn dots.
Yeah, maybe that would have been it. But yeah, it's a nice closer. And I honestly, I think that when I was writing these songs, I didn't write them all in order, but I had an idea of like wanting to create an album flow, with a side A and a side B type thing, even though it's pretty short. And then that one was like, once I was putting it together, I'm like, well, this has got to be the closer. And so that's why I kind of wrote that I don't know. It feels like a big ending, with the riff and everything to that last part. Anyway, I don't know. Lyrically, you want to shed some light on that one?
This one really was very abstract. It's mainly a bit of wordplay from me. It's probably the most. It's probably the most really out there song on here in terms of, you know, it's kind of up to the listener. Like, what do you want it to be?
Yeah.
But for me, you know, the shoulda, woulda, coulda thing.
Yeah.
I thought, well, what if we really hone in on that? And, you know, that, you know, it don't bother me, but boy, I wish it would. I thought had a lot of weight to it.
Yeah.
And then in the second verse, when it, you know, you think I'm the one, it ain't fucking me. You know, it's that whole thing of, it ain't fucking me, I ain't the one.
Yeah.
But boy, I wish it would fuck me in a way, you know, and it's that little switcheroo, in there. And I felt pretty, I'm not gonna lie, I felt pretty pleased with myself after I came up with that.
Yeah, it's great.
It's a fun bait and switch, but really, like, if I had to point to a song on the album that's the most nebulous, it's probably this one.
Yeah,
it's kind of it's the most up to interpretation song on here. For me, it was just an exercise in fucking around with words and doing a little bait and switch.
Yeah. And then that song has the only thing that can even be closely equated to a guitar solo, which is just me doing 3 notes at the end, because I don't do guitar solos.
But it works, and it's atmospheric, and I think that
was the point. Although I do have to say that, like, in the future when we write more stuff, I'd like there to be a guitar solo or two.
Absolutely.
But I'm just not good at guitar solos. But like, there's that part of me that thinks like, once we start throwing shit together, you know, for future stuff, it'd be cool to like, just to see what happens, reach out to people that we know and be like, hey, you want to throw a guitar solo on this?
Yeah. I have a couple people in mind. For that sort of thing.
Yeah, we can, you know, reach out to like, just, you know, our friends. But like, you know, there's a part of me that's all like, I'd send like Jason Beeler an email and be like, hey, dude, you want to do something on this?
Holy shit. I didn't even think about that. Imagine that. Yeah. That would be so
I mean,
cool.
there's the thing is, like, you know, I'm friendly with a handful of musicians from bands we talk about. Enough so where I'd feel comfortable at least asking. And if they said no, I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be like, yeah, that's fine. But, you know, I'm friendly with a few people, and that would be pretty fun. But I wouldn't want it to be anything like time consuming. That's why I would be like, oh, just throw like a little guitar solo in here. Or, you know, can you do a backing vocal part where you just go, yeah, or something? James Hetfield? No, I don't know James Hetfield yet. Anyway.
You know what I love? When Jim Martin did that fucking solo album, and he literally hired James literally just to say hell yeah, in a song.
Yeah.
Disco Dust, it's called. Yeah.
We should get Jim Martin on this. I don't even know. I don't even know how to find Jim Martin.
That would be a dream come true if we could get Jim Martin on a fucking song. That'd be so cool.
We'll just do a pause where he goes, "What a shithead." It's a reference to your shirt that you
that'd be so cool.
Anyway, so that's it. That's Grave Circuit 1.0.
Yes.
Which is now out on Bandcamp. I'll put links in the video description. And I think I don't know how links work on the podcast, but I might try to put a link in the description of the podcast and maybe it'll work. I don't know. But bandcamp.com/Grave Circuit. And for those of you who don't know about Bandcamp, there's a Bandcamp app where you can just stream shit from Bandcamp. And there's a lot of stuff. Like most bands have a Bandcamp page. And the cool thing about Bandcamp is that bands have more control over a lot of things. They even sell merch through there too. Which we could do if we want to make some merch. If you guys would want some Grave Circuit merch, we can start working on that too. But really, like at this point, we don't know what the reaction to this is going to be. So the next part is you guys on the video. Put your comments. What do you think of these songs? What are your favorites? Just go crazy. And then same thing in the podcast world. If you want to send me an email, you can either just send it to oldheadpodcast@gmail.com, or you can go to oldheadnetwork.com and go to the contact section, and it just sends it right to me. And I did create an Instagram for us.
Nice.
Instagram. I'm following you on Instagram. It's Instagram. No, it's Instagram, but I think it's grave.circuit, because I found out there was somebody that already had Grave Circuit, but it wasn't like a name. It was just their handle, had nothing to do with like anything else. And because at first I was like, oh shit, is this name taken? But no, it's not taken. It is taken now by us, Grave Circuit. And we're like, I don't know, we're like the Daft Punk of 90s alt grunge.
Yeah.
Metal. Which in the future I want to expand what we do too, because
oh yeah,
because a lot of you may not know, but Eddie fucks around with doing like synth wave type stuff sometimes and things of that nature.
Let me put it this way: so I have hundreds of demos recorded.
Yeah,
some of them date back 10 years. And I've been waiting, it's that thing of, when the time is right, I will emerge and take my rightful place as the supreme.
Yeah.
I've been playing the long game.
And so nothing's off the table, but it'd be cool in future stuff to really sort of vary things up. Like maybe, the main theme of things will still be, the heavy rock shit that we do. But, I love throwing in other things, whether it be for interludes or just a track that kind of just goes completely out of out of left field.
A fun title for us would be like Grave Circuit 2.0, Expect the Unexpected, or some shit like that. We're always coming up with shit. Recently, I sent you something that was like based on the Frutiger Aero aesthetic, if anybody knows what that is. So, the future we were promised.
Yeah. So, honestly, with the two of us, where we're both very open to a lot of things, the future of this band could go wherever. So right now, it's just getting this out there and seeing what everybody thinks. So for those of you who watch this whole video or listen to the whole podcast, thank you very much. This album is dedicated to the peanut butter platypuses, the aluminium squirrels, the Belvedere ball sitters, the Christmas dogs, and whatever else you want to call yourself. Because if you're a fan of us, you can make up your own name. In fact, if you come up with a good one, I probably won't remember it because I already have trouble remembering the four that we came up with. And why are they even there? What's the point? There's no point. We could just call you fans, but I have a problem with the word fan. I don't know. Unless it's a ceiling fan or something like that. Cool with those. Get it? Cool. I'm cool with fans.
He said the thing.
So, you know what? But you know what? I think that we've earned this because it's our first time putting out an album. So I think we deserve one of these. Because we did. We did do's it.
We did a thing.
Yeah. So go listen. Share it with your friends. Send links. And Instagram grave circuit or however that works, grave dot circuit, fucking shit. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm going to do with the Instagram. I just wanted to have one just in case. So you could very well see that like nothing happens on it. I'm going to try to make it to where you can log into it too, in case you want to like do anything.
Oh, cool.
Upload some dick pics or something. I don't know.
Well, anyway. I'm no Tommy Lee, but you know, there's always time.
But so yeah, that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Next week, back to our normal Crankin' and Rankin', although it's a special Cranked and Ranked, which is GTA Vice City, which I've completed one mission in that game, so I've played a little bit.
Nice.
But it's just like with the other game, the frustrating thing for me is just trying to drive. And so it gets really aggravating. And so I'm assuming it's because of the handheld, the phone version of the game I'm playing. It's probably easier if you have a not a joystick. What do they call those things? Controllers?
Yeah, controller. Yeah.
Anyway, so next week we'll be ranking the radio stations on GTA Vice City, which I've already done. My ranking's ready to go.
Nice.
So,
I have a question though.
Sure.
Have you enjoyed yourself?
Yes. Why?
Excellent. I just it's like one of the greatest soundtracks of anything ever.
It's so honestly, like I have my gripes about some of it, just song choices, because I feel like I got more pleasure out of the GTA San Andreas radio stations. But I think at that point the game was bigger and they probably had more artists that were okay with their music being used.
Yeah.
Although I was quite surprised to hear Michael Jackson on Vice City. I was just like, wow, I got some fucking Michael Jackson on here. A couple Michael Jacksons actually.
It's amazing how quickly like the success story of GTA 3 is like you listen to the GTA 3 soundtrack, it is all underground stuff. And one station inexplicably is the Scarface soundtrack, just because it's a crime game, right? Yeah. But the amount of money that 3 raked in, they could afford all of these 80s bangers, and they just crafted this virtual Miami that was just
and there are a few of what I consider some of the greatest songs of the 80s in those radio stations. So but we'll get to that long ass discussion about the GTA radio stations and ranking them. GTA Vice City. Yes, that's what we're doing. Anyway,
yes.
So thanks for being here for the Grave Circuit 1.0 album release. And I keep saying it. Please go listen and let us know what you think. And then we'll see you all again fairly soon. Well, I say very soon because it'll probably be fucking next week. I don't know why do I feel like I'm having such a hard time ending this episode? Look, guys, we're done. All right, we've bared our souls musically to you. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Now let's get the fuck out of here. And as usual, I'm going to throw it over to Eddie Sparxx to take us out.
Later, dude.